Good evening, sir.
Hey.
Speak with you. Okay, guys, welcome to the series. Again, as you know, In Conversation is about these legends in music and their contribution. And we have His Royal Highness tonight. Yeah, you can't refer to Tom Browne as anything other than His Royal Highness. Great to see you, sir.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Lovely to hear you. How have you been?
Oh, not bad. I'm shuffling in between multitask here. Where I bought my wife a new car, and so we need a third vehicle because it snows here on occasion, and so we've been going through that for about a week and a half or so, and I'm just racking my brains out. But other than that,
Take yourself away from the car for half an hour, 45 minutes. You belong to me for now, okay?
Gotcha.
After that. Well, I have to tell you, viewers, that I glimpsed this guy on Monday because we were supposed to do the interview on Monday. And due to technical difficulties, I won't say old people mixing in young people's things, but that's basically what it was. So we had to postpone and do it today. I got a glimpse of this guy and I thought he is too fly. So I had to make a bit more of an effort today for the real thing so that I'm not looking out of place like I did doing the garden or something. So you're looking great and stylish as ever. And I have to say, the first album that came into my sight was with Funkin' for Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
And we saw this fly guy, as you can see, he's still fly, with a trumpet sitting in a cockpit. Now we thought it was just a photo session. Little did we know you were really a pilot.
It's my other career. Try to keep it rolling.
Okay, so when did you do that? What era were you doing your pilot's training?
I actually, both the music and the flying happened pretty much simultaneously. I got my first license back in 1972, and I started instructing in 1976. And so that was building up experience and building up hours. I started getting involved in flying charters in the mid to late 80s, and ran several charter companies. I was chief pilot and check airman for them, and actually got involved with the airlines late 80s. It was following a dream that I had. I mean, I always wanted to do that as a career. Somehow the music got involved, and I ended up saying, well, I can, make money at this now and go back to that later. Six one, half dozen other. I'm trying to make money at one of them because it's like juggling them both. But they've always been two passions, just pursuing two passions.
Okay. Well, I see that you grew up in Queens.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Are you still in Queens or have you moved from there now?
We moved in 1986. We moved to the south, first Virginia Beach, and then Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where we're at now.
Okay, North Carolina. Well, that's quite away from New York.
Yeah, it's better for the family. We were raising young kids at that time, and just a lot going on in the city. Prices were going up. It was just getting to be kind of difficult. So we made a move south.
So when did music start for you? When did the musical journey start for you?
Probably
that far back.
That far back. Let me see here. Let me take off my cap and think for a minute. I think around 1963, 64, somewhere around there. I was introduced to trumpet. My dad was a trumpet player. And so no, but on a pretty decent level.
Right. Okay.
And so, I mean, there was always music in the house, and it was just something about the trumpet that drew me to it, and the rest, as they say, is history.
So you were how old when you started playing?
About 9.
9, as young as that. Yeah. The earlier, the better, they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because then it's really in your blood. It's your life.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that at that age, you don't want to practice. You don't want to, get into. I mean, I guess some kids do, but I didn't. And it wasn't until I started taking professional lessons. I had a masterful classical trumpet teacher named Murray Karpolowski, who played with played under Toscanini actually in the NBC orchestra, and
Right.
I remember going for a lesson to his house when that was back in the days where you had to ride your bicycle to a lesson. It wasn't
With
any
your
of this.
trumpet in a little bag.
Exactly. It's like you ain't getting over on me driving you 10 miles down the road. So I rode my bike out to his lesson out on Long Island, and he found out that I didn't practice last week, and he told me probably go home.
Yeah.
So I mean that was the era of very little forgiveness.
Well, I tell you, I've got a very similar story because I played the piano from the age of 5 up until the age of 18. And as you say, you get to that point where it's starting to go out and listen to people like Tom Browne that were distracting me from my
Sorry
practice.
about that.
And, the piano teacher, one day she just closed the piano on my hands and said, okay, I can see you've come to the point where you now have to decide if you're going to continue or if you're going to stop, And sadly, I stopped. Well, I wouldn't say sadly, but, I just had 13 years of it and I was quite ready to give up. So, yeah. But then when did you decide, well, you know what? Trumpet and music is me professionally. At which stage did you decide that?
I actually, it wasn't until my first record deal, believe it or not. Trumpet was always going to be a hobby. I loved it dearly, but flying was going to be my passion. And I was playing a gig. I did a bunch of sideman gigs. I was playing a gig with not Lonnie Liston Smith, but Dr. Lonnie Smith, a jazz organist.
Yeah, Lonnie Smith. I see that. I've
done
research.
And so I was uptown Manhattan, and played with Weldon Irvine, and as a matter of fact, all the Jamaica Cats came through Weldon Irvine. But I was playing with Dr. Lonnie Smith at this gig in I guess it was about 1977 or 1978, somewhere around there, and got a couple of offers from record companies. Turned out the place I was playing at was a place that a lot of record execs came in, and I ended up getting an offer from Columbia, an offer from CTI, and I said, well, I got to look at this here, and that's really the point where I said, you know what, I could do this, and I'll put flying on the side, and I'll do this, and but up until that point, it was a hobby. I mean, it was a high caliber hobby, but it was a hobby.
But what is great now, you've contradicted what a lot of the other artists that I've interviewed said, because they've all said, like some of them, like the Sounds of Blackness, their journey was 20 years before we got to know about them.
Yeah.
But it sounds like your transition from practicing and playing and doing a few amateur gigs to getting the big deal wasn't that long.
It really wasn't. It was unplanned. It was not something I was pursuing. Music was just, I was doing sideman. I did sideman gigs with Sonny Fortune and Weldon Irvine, but it wasn't something I was pursuing as a career. Right. And it just kind of fell in my lap, and I just had to make a decision.
It really seems, because the transition period, you said from like 1972 until when did you get the first deal? Was it 79?
78 was the first deal.
Right. That's like a mere 6 years.
Yeah.
That's not that long.
Yeah.
And
wasn't planned.
The first hit was?
The first record was Brown Sugar, but the first hit was Funkin' for Jamaica on the Love Approach album, 1980.
Yeah, that's the one in the cockpit with the trumpet.
Yeah.
Giving it some style to the side.
Profiling!
That's right. Well, I mean, I don't need to explain to you that is still an anthem today.
And I appreciate it. It makes my mind just boggle that 40 years later, that record is still getting
plus.
Yeah, it's getting almost as much airplay as it got when it came out. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is a must. It is a standard at every party, at every occasion. Funkin' Jamaica is a necessary one of those tunes across the board, across all cultures. Funkin' for Jamaica is in there.
I actually got I got tired of it for a minute and tried not to play it on gigs. And that, needless to say, that didn't go over too well.
No, they won't, because that's what they're coming to hear.
Yeah. So now, I just tease the audience. I tell them I'm not going to play that tonight. And you can see like the looks out there like, we're going to kill you.
They're ready to kill you. Exactly. But, that's an interesting point, because all the time you guys as musicians and creators are making new music, making new creations, and you want to put that out there. But the people know you for however many particular tunes, and they literally demand that of you every time they hear you live. I mean, I guess you must be used to it by now.
I'm used to it. I'm not to say I am not highly appreciative of the audience. I mean, they basically keep what I do going. But I guess, George Benson had a very similar circumstance. George is a phenomenal guitarist, jazz guitarist, and people know him. He's got plenty of hits, but they know him mainly for breezing. Right. And so he said the same thing. Everywhere I go, I got to play these two notes. That's right. And hear this great guitarist is like playing two notes. But it's the same thing, when you come out of your bedroom and stop practicing in your bedroom and go out into public and play in the public, you really are playing for the people. Absolutely. And so I just had to adapt and say, you know what, I'm here to help people have a good time, let people relax, let them see that you're enjoying doing what you do. And so I just adapted. I just said, hey, I'm going to have some fun. And things really changed at that point.
Yeah. I guess it must be frustrating for you guys when you want to get your new material out there and people still want to hear the old material. So I guess you have to strike that balance of a little bit of new and a lot of the old. And
well, it was a difficult balance for me because it wasn't just the new and the old, but it was jazz and R&B. Because I've done a lot of gigs where there was one gig that I opened for Aretha Franklin years. I'm going back to the 80s, and it was an absolute disaster. It was a disaster because, Jamaica Funk was great, but then everything else, people were like, what's he doing? He's playing jazz.
You're like, this is what I do.
This is me. This is what I do. Well, we don't like what you do. We don't like what you do.
I like that. We don't like what you do. But then the next hit was Thighs High, right?
Thighs High came next, yeah.
Yeah, but you are a jazz musician, but they were pretty funky.
Because where I came from in Jamaica, New York, it was a unique spot. Bernard Wright, Marcus Miller, Najee were all from Jamaica. Donald Blackman, Lenny White. There's countless groups.
It sounds like an absolute hub of talent. The names that you're Don Blackman, he is a god. Marcus Miller, Lenny White, it's a hub of talent.
Yeah, but what we all had in common was Jamaica had a unique scene where it was a jazz funk mix of legends who lived there. James Browne was on one block. Around the corner from James Browne was Count Basie. So you were just exposed to that extreme of musical ideas, and it just merged into like a jazz funk thing. More
often than not, that's how it kind of happens. It's the different influences mixing with each other and collaborating with each other. And, you create this new genre of something that's just amazing.
Yeah.
The Thighs High is pretty tough. That's tune, man.
I still have to live down Thighs High. I get people, I get ladies on stage that say, "Oh, if you only knew what I was doing when I heard that." I don't want to know what you were doing when you heard that.
That's my wife over there. So
exactly.
I really don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Hi,
I'm
Martha.
really glad it inspired you, but I don't know.
Yeah, many times I've seen my wife. I had to say, "Hi, Martha. Everything's good."
Now that's an interesting thing, because I know the major hits were like Funkin' for Jamaica, Thighs High, Fungi Mama, and Brighter Tomorrow. But there were little gems that for me slipped through, like Forevermore,
Yeah, yeah,
and Martha. And you
yeah.
just slipped in that that's named after your wife.
It is. It is.
Can I say that that's my favorite?
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's my favorite too.
Yeah. No, the tune Martha is your favorite.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to get it wrong. The tune Martha is one of my favorites. It is absolutely up there.
I
Love
appreciate it.
it.
Thank
And
you.
was that the same vocalist, Tony
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
on Martha,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
who sadly passed last year?
Sadly, she passed about a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But what an amazing voice. And were you all still in contact up to this day?
No, I lost contact with Tony. There were several issues,
Right.
personal issues on her side that I just lost contact, and it was
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah. But what a voice. And I mean, she really did take funk into Jamaica to another level.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is still
It was
here today.
it was funny because Shaka is actually recorded saying, when did I record this song? Because I mean, not only did people, Shaka actually thought, I must have done this somewhere because it sounds so much like me.
Well, it's funny because I actually did have to kind of research, I mean, back in the day, who actually was doing the vocals.
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't that plain. If it was, you're thinking, well, no, that's not a man's voice, so it's not Tom Browne, and he can't be playing the trumpet and singing.
Yeah.
But yeah, great voice. And well, that would probably be her legacy as much as it is yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely missed.
New album.
New
album. Let's hear it.
The whole of which is dedicated to my wife Martha.
Okay.
The entire album is, and it's actually a celebration of her victory over breast cancer. So there's several symbols on the record and several songs on the record that are directly about her coming through and surviving and being healed from going through that. And it's as an inspiration to other people to get checked up and follow through on it.
And thank you very much for being candid about that, because rather than keeping it a secret, you use it as something for inspiration to create, and not only create, but inspiration for other people that say that, well, if you're fortunate enough and you fight, you can pull through and there will be life after this.
Exactly.
Tragic, traumatic experience.
Yep.
So how long ago was that?
That was about 3.5 years ago now.
Right.
About 3.5 years ago.
She's good to go.
She's good to go.
Even getting a new car. Lucky her.
I can't fault her. I had to force her to get a new BMW because she was at the point where the old one had like 210,000 miles on it, and I said, It's done. She's no, it still runs. Trust me,
I can drive it until I'm like Fred Flintstone with my feet on the floor. It's okay.
Yeah, my fear was being 2,000 miles away, doing something, and hearing that call, my car. So I just,
you're on your own, honey, because I did tell you. And now I'm on the other side of the world. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah. So.
Well, as you say, the new album is dedicated to your wife and her fight with breast cancer. And the title itself, Come What May, speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's like, come what may, we'll deal with it. And we have to deal with it whether we want to or not.
Yeah. And that is her on the cover. That actually has, the inner sleeve actually has a picture of us and an explanation of what she went through and how we're just, thankful to God for taking us through this. So it was a very special album for me.
Now, you see, that's the beauty of the old days when you could get a hard copy of an album because you could open it. So, you get a digital copy and you can play it, but it's not the same as the album cover that you can open, as you say, and read that story.
Yeah.
Read that story about her. So I'll have to find a hard copy. I don't know where I'm going to find that. But I have to say my two grooves are the groove line.
Uh-huh.
That's the one for me. And Angels We Hear From Up Above, is it?
Angels We've Heard on High, yeah.
Heard on High, that's it.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorites. I'm loving those.
Well, it's kind of hard to follow up Heat Wave, so it's I had to do that. Bob Baldwin was actually involved in that that track with me on Groove Line.
Okay. Yeah, those are my two absolute favorites. So when is that coming out?
That actually is out. It was out. It's out. It's been out for about a month and a half now. It's on Intervision Records. I've just actually jumped in to help with some of the digital distribution. Right. That these days is a task in itself, just getting your product out there. But it's been out for about a month and a half.
And it's available on all musical platforms.
Yeah? Amazon, CD Baby, iTunes, Google, Spotify. It's pretty much available anywhere out there.
And can you still actually get a hard copy?
Yeah. I think you can either order it from the label itself, Intervision Records, or I don't know if you have Walmart's.
No, we don't have that here.
Well, just send me an email. I'll send you a hard copy. Don't.
You hear that, guys? See, when you're hooked up with directly, it's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a hard copy of that because I'd love to read the story.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the music industry, as you say, has completely changed now from back in the day, right?
Completely.
So the whole process for you, how are you finding that transition of singles and hits that you had then, albums that you had there, and dealing with it now?
It's a different day, like you said. What I am enjoying is, everyone now has an in-home studio. It doesn't have to be elaborate. I mean, I put this little studio together for my hound dog is going off in the background there.
Oh, well, I'm glad that that's happened because I don't know if you noticed there was a tail walking behind me. So that's my husky Lex. So I was trying to hide him. I'm glad your dog barked. It's made it all much easier.
We're in the same boat.
We're in the same boat, yeah.
But it's delightful to be able to just get up, say, hey, I want to start working on a track today, and just going to your music room, turn the studio on, and start working. The vocalist on this record lives over there in the Netherlands. She's from the Philippines, but lives in the Netherlands. Joyce San Mateo is the vocalist on my last couple of records, and she's who I'm featuring. She's a phenomenal young lady. But we just collaborate via the internet. I mean, I'll send her a track and she'll do the vocals over there, send the WAV files back over to me. I'll merge them in. So it's a different day. The days,
different time.
Yeah. The days of having to spend, $150,000 to get a record made. Those days are long, long gone. So I do enjoy that. It's much harder to market now. But the creative side of it, I definitely enjoy a lot more.
Because it seems that you're almost having to market it on your own in a different way from when you had a big record company behind you or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, there is very little artist repertoire. There is very little marketing campaigns out there. There's certainly no dollars for it. So what a lot of folks are doing now is just signing distribution deals. I mean, we'll make the record. We just want a name company to put it out there and get it out there as wide as possible. And of course, with COVID, I mean, folks are just finding new ways to survive in this music business. We're just doing what we can, doing online concerts.
Those are the ones that will really survive. The ones that are versatile and say, okay, these are the circumstances we have to deal with. We've got to find a solution. And as usual, the solution finders are always the better people to be around rather than the people who point out the problems.
Yeah. I mean, they're just saying this is the way it's always been. This is the way. Well, every 50 or 100 years or so, a paradigm shift comes along. And you either adapt or you get left behind. There's one or the other. And that's in every industry.
I mean, I think that is it. You've said it perfectly. The versatility, you either have to adapt, keep up, or you get left behind because change doesn't stop. Because you don't want it to happen. You know what I mean? So, well, I am honored to speak with you. I know you've got to run because you've got to sort out that BMW.
Well, she's got to do BMW. We're actually going for a Jeep now. It's something that's snow handling ability. Yes. God, we've been looking for like a month and a half, but it is what it is.
That's right.
I'm still scratching my head, but it's.
But that's a quick question before you go. How did you handle lockdown? Did you use it to be writing and creating?
With my other career flying, I'm in town for 2 weeks and then I'm on the road flying for 2 weeks. Right. And we were exempt. Well, I was exempt from lockdown. Matter of fact, we fly with UPS and we move a lot of critical medical supplies around. So we have to be. I actually have a letter that I carry that requires me to be out there. Should I ever get stopped? Why are you out during? So we on the home front, we adapted to it. We surely will be glad when things are better. I wish Americans were more realistic. I mean, I see a lot of parts of the world that just say, "Hey, we have to wear masks. That's the way it is," and we just adapt. Yeah. Americans are very well. Let me not get. Maybe this part should be edited. but
as you said earlier, it's about that thing of some people not wanting to adapt to what's necessary in the moment and the change that is happening now. They're like, well, we never had to wear a mask before. Yeah, but what's going on now never happened before. That's why you got to wear a mask.
Exactly. I mean, I just think if you care about your neighbor and let's say you don't get it, but if you care about your neighbor and you care about your friends and you care about people around you, put the mask on. I mean, it just shows you care is all it does. So we've been masking up since the beginning. Yeah.
But I mean, it seems as though your life was pretty, not unaffected, but you were still doing things reasonably as normal. Simply because of the position that you're in, flying, medical supplies.
Yeah, the flying had kept me going pretty much as normal. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking going through major airports, with crowds of people and you're wearing a mask and you're just going, oh God, I hope I don't. But you try to be normal as much as you can, but you just take the precautions that are necessary to take.
Necessary. And was your flying taking you around America or was it global?
It's primarily the United States, but we do some South America, we do the Caribbean, we do some Canada. So it's right. Primarily North America.
North America's, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, sir. It's been an honor to speak to Mr. Tom Browne himself, the creator of all of our playground years of music, our distractions, shall I say. Yeah, distracted me from my piano lessons. Him.
And I'm telling your audience, I'm not playing Jamaica Funk anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I'm playing.
Do you want to start receiving hate mail?
Exactly.
I don't think you do.
We bought tickets to your show, but we're sending them back because we heard, I don't want to go through.
Exactly. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, an honor. Great to see you looking so well and fly still.
Thank you. All the best. I'm just covering up my bald head is what I'm doing. But
oh, wait, hold on a minute. Oh, I see. I see.
Three boys, 3 kids. Okay, they have moved my hairline back consecutively every year.
It's true. 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you get the pleasure out of them. It's worth being bald.
They're gone. They're grown and they're out of the house. I get great pleasure out of them.
Mr. Browne, or can I now call you Tom after our interview?
You absolutely can. Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Great to see you.
Very good seeing you.
All the best with the album.
Thank you so much.
We are all waiting to hear the full. I've heard it already, guys, but I know you guys need to go out and get Mr. Tom Browne's album. That is called
Come What May.
Yep. It's available on all musical platforms, so let's do it. Okay, guys.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to your listeners for the support.
You're welcome. My pleasure. All the best.
To you too.